My name is Sage Babalola. Pleasure to have you here. It's Wednesday, the 4th day in the month of February 2026. Welcome. It's the Morning Express. We have conversations for you. We have experts that would also address these conversations as we start the day. Of course, what is starting the day without giving you information? It's very important that you have details of the news that are making the headlines, and most importantly, explanations and an unbundling of the complex part of this conversation. And that's primarily what we intend to do as we get into the first segment of the Morning Express called Trends in the Papers. Well, as the name suggests, we'll be looking at stories that are trending, especially on the front covers of our dailies. We're looking at the Punch, the Guardian, and the Vanguard newspaper. I'm Sage Babalola, and for outside, we'll be playing analysts as we look through these reports. Let's get into it so that we can talk about as many stories in Radio Guardian and our official website www.mainlandfm.com. Good morning, for outside. It's nice to have you as always.
Good morning, Sage. How are you doing?
I'm well. In fresh Katsina Kwara attacks, no fewer than 30 people were killed on Tuesday in separate bandit attack on communities in Katsina and Kwara state as assailants renewed violent assaults on rural settlement, razing houses and vehicles and forcing residents to flee local government area. Residents said the assailants stormed the area unhindered, killing villagers and setting houses and vehicles ablaze before fleeing. Confirming the incident is the chairman of the Faskari local government area, Surajo Aliyu, who described the attack as a reprisal and the deadliest incidents have died in Katsina and Kwara state. The attack in Katsina, more specifically, we don't see any report of abductions happening. They just went there, they killed people like a punishment for them daring to even attempt to fight back, or should I say the activities of security agencies. Now they are upset, innocent citizens, for the losses that they suffered on that particular day, and 30 people have paid very dearly with their life. What?
God forbid that we now accept this as the new normal. Where we will call to reports of mass killings in different parts of the country, and it does not just move us. We just see it as, okay, one of those normal things, right? Things that we just move on. Because it's almost as if that's now the new attitude to these reports. And it can't just now accept these killings as nothing. We're just counting the numbers. We're not feeling it. We're not even seeing it as anything that we should take seriously. The numbers are staggering. It's unbelievable. And what is more common, it's one thing to make statements, it's another thing to also have real commitment to solving the problem. I'm sorry to say, the body language of even Mr. President does not even suggest that he sees this as an emergency. There are no reports as to whether they be released or rescued. In Katsina State, where the governor is open to releasing arrested bandits, look at what we have now. And we had, but look, if you look at it on the other hand, it appears that these governors are also helpless. Because why would they do that in this country? Why would the governor decide to release bandits? That is wrong. That is absurd. That is killing. But look, if you look at it critically,
it does.
It shows helplessness. So the question we should now ask ourselves is, why are they helpless? Who are supposed to be responsible here and say, oh, why would the government be so foolish? Oh, maybe he has a hand in it. Oh, that was wrong. This is encouraging the bandits to continue to do what they are doing. But look, you have a situation where the governor has thousands of his people in the hand of this. He knows he does not have what it takes to secure them. Those with this responsibility have gone completely defective. To take responsibility and accept that, look, this has become a problem. And so you put up, nothing seems to make sense again to some of us. I'm sorry. Because at the end of the day, we want to win in 2027. We will not win. We understand politics, master strategy, everybody defective. But look at, you accept these things and think it is normal. That every day we read the papers, we review stories, and what we see 20 killed, 30 killed, hundreds abducted. In this country,
well, that's what the Punch tells us. And I think this is more heartbreaking because they didn't even do this for money. They did not abduct people or...
Just said it's a reprisal.
Yes,
so they go to
reprisal because there's been...
So they're basically killing for fun.
Yes, right? There's been heightened security operations in this state, obviously, because they seem to be the most vulnerable in recent times. And the security forces had people for the successes that the security operatives had recorded, some and just walked off. That was it.
Unbelievable. See, it's again in this same country, and our politicians are busy. Why we talk about 20?
Oh, very sad. Our heart goes out to all of those who are grieving. It's a sad thing to see. Well, still looking at the Punch and still talking about security, Genocide and Affairs Committee have cautioned that in an escalating global crisis of religious freedom, the warning is contained in recent displacement and insecurity as indicators of an emerging broader religious conflict in Nigeria. Some of those who would be testifying are the former U.S. Ambassador at Large for International Religious Freedom, Sam Brownback, principal advisor for the Global Religious Freedom at the United States, the former chair of the U.S. Commission on International Religious Freedom. Now, I would like for you to take these stories together because the Vanguard, allow us to do a quick detour. The Vanguard newspaper is reporting that the U.S. military says that some force man for Africa said yesterday. This is the first acknowledgement of the U.S. forces on ground since Washington was struck by air on Christmas Day. President Donald Trump has ordered airstrike on what he described as Islamic State's target in Nigeria, adding that there could be more U.S. military action there. Now, Reuters earlier reported that the U.S. had been conducting, and I wouldn't call it a debate, but that's really what it is, regarding the Christian genocide or the religious, that there is a small troop. The U.S. says a small troop have actually been dispatched to Nigeria, the first admittance related, of course, via airstrike. So that is the situation on ground right now. This renewed bromance between Nigeria and the U.S., the fears that have been raised by these security experts might start to really show face.
Sage, I have a lot of fears. So much to think about. I'm going to discuss this privately. I'm going to probably express some of these fears, and I hope you understand with me. But honestly, some of them, what comes to mind, especially when you look at what is happening in the global space at this time.
Yeah.
America's position at deliberately oversimplifying complex issues just to make it, you are in an era where you have a leadership of the most powerful nation in the world that in itself getting help, or you are getting what I can call a single narrative from such a country, you have to be very careful. Change. Most likely, most of these villagers are going to be Muslims, right? So that's why we have to be very, very careful to oversimplify this issue, basically as an attack on Christians. And what it means is that, look, whatever intervention we'll be getting or help we'll be getting, if the help is coming because Nigerians are being killed, it means that we're going to have a broader view of the problem. We have a more holistic vision. There's no doubt. See that statement from Donald Trump. There are people who now say, oh, fantastic, we will now continue to do more of these things. Because that's what they want. And that's why you see sometimes world leaders being careful to make some particular statement. Because what you do is to feed anarchy. They want the chaos. And so once you feed it into their own ideology, you see, we'll go into it and continue to do more. Now we are getting confirmation that, look, a number of US soldiers have now been deployed to the country, and it has been the country boots on ground. Again, we're working with our own soldiers, majorly on intelligence gathering, what have you. How big will this collaboration be? Say,
to what extent?
In this fight against insurgency, quote-unquote terrorists in Nigeria, what will be the focus? What will be the mode of operation? See, because again, years after years, government after government, we have people who kept living in denial about the reality of this problem. Oh, we are looking for grazing roots. No, it's not insurgency. X-Men, we kept giving it different names. basically living in denial about the problem. Look at even the home state of the former president is no longer safe. Katsina State. Kwara is not safe. Ogun is not safe. Oyo is not safe. Borno is not safe. Kano, Sokoto, where been up and down that they still want to rule this country in 2027 with what we have now.
Might be considered too sensitive to eyes and cross their T's, because we're
operations from this end. You think the US guys knows what they are doing. You have an idea, well thought out, well planned out. Can we trust that on our own part we know what we are doing? That's the question, see. You see, get help. It appears we cannot handle this matter on our own. And there's nothing wrong in getting help. But the question is, as you collaborate, if they understand what they want to do from their...
Do you think so?
Okay, let's keep up alive on that. Right?
That I really would like to. I would like to think so, because if that one primary making the decisions, and that's scary to think of.
That's scary, especially when you understand the narrative that the US is pushing out when it comes to something like this all over the world. If you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah. Act, but that's the latest information regarding US-Nigeria collaboration, especially on security. Moving forward, Punch still proposed a 3.6 trillion naira deduction from the Federation's account to fund electricity subsidy in 2026-2027, and the move represents a decisive step by the federal government to confront the rapidly mounting electricity subsidy debt, which has severely constrained liquidity across the power sector, while also strengthening fiscal transparency by making subsidy obligations explicit and better accounted for. Now, according to table 6.2 of the MT6, is pegged at 1.2 trillion the sector, while preventing hidden liabilities from ballooning into a fiscal crisis. Yesterday we did get reports, right, that the responsibility of subsidy payment, again, it takes us back to the conversation of, you had told us years ago that electricity subsidy had, however, a few years later we're hearing that the government is still subsidizing, but they're primarily subsidizing for those who are probably in band C or band D. Well, the amount of money that is paid for subsidy is now pegged at 1.2 trillion naira, and
well, now this plan is for the year 2026. 2027 will be the same. Nothing changes. So the projection is at 1.2 trillion every year. Yeah, so that's the deduction of 3.6 trillion. So it's not like, oh, we are owing and we are looking for money to pay. We already have the money deducted. We just pay in advance. I don't know whether they want to do it monthly, because maybe every month. So there's a percentage of the FAC allocation that goes into D. So any other ban would always be, what aspect of the value chain are we subsidizing? Say, what aspect of the entire value chain are we subsidizing? Who is counting the cost? How did we arrive at this calculation? Chain is so complex that I doubt whether we've done the proper thing. I hope that, look, there are no indications of corruption, overestimation, because again, Nigeria is just what it is when it comes to things like this. From people who are supplying gas, to those who are chemicals, to the transmission end of the value chain, and to distribution. How did we arrive at for subsidy on electricity? I've not really seen anybody in that sector who has been able to really come out to break it down. For example, with crude oil, we can even do calculations. We've talked about the cost of crude, cost of extraction, cost of refining, or even to even extract crude from wherever. But whatever it is, this is an information to Nigeria. I think Nigerians are not going to even care if they remove all the money from the state. This subsidy money. Do you think to be deducted from the money that are going to the state? Do you think Nigerians will bother?
Not really.
Because whether the states have money or they don't have money, Nigerians have said they have money or they don't have money, nobody sees any impact from them anyways. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, but again, I think the most important Nigeria, because we deserve it.
Maybe when the grid stops fainting.
So beyond the grid, you see, let us even say we are able to stabilize the grid. Have you not seen situations where the generation to carry it and you see situations where the discos are refusing to take power for distribution. Because the reality is that somebody collapses. Sometimes you're able to carry it. They are not done enough investment. And you had a president who told us in 2023, if I don't guarantee you 24 hours power supply, don't vote for me. If you are still paying estimated billing, don't vote for me. No. And you will see them stylishly trying to gaslight you. Oh, they say the easiest thing is to criticize. Don't they know that the easiest thing and the most useless and foolish is to be a psycho fan in the reality of what the Nigerians are facing at this time?
Well, trends in the papers, mainland 98.3 FM. My name is Sage Babalola. Forward side joins us live stream, and you can in fact begin to interact as we go through these reports. We're currently still looking at subsidy payment equally between the federal and the state government, which means that deductions will be done. 8. Let's go back to the reports. Punch newspaper. The PDP in the news once again, and not for anything exciting, honestly. Convention, the People's Democratic Party deepened on Tuesday as governors elected on the party's platform rejected moves by Nᴇᴜsᴜ backed caretaker committee such decisions. The caretaker committee, backed by the Minister of the FCT, Wike, had rescheduled the party's national convention originally slated for March 28 to March 20 working committee meeting, which dissolved the Southwest, Northwest and the pled National Working Committee, stated that Wike's group lacks the authority to organize a convention, holds that PDP convention, that November 15 convention in Ibadan, and did order the Turaki and others to stop acting as national officers of the party. So now Nᴇᴜsᴜ has taken it upon himself to dissolve committees and also to reschedule the convention that's supposed to happen. And as if has been taking they're fighting or they're pushing back against the decision by Wike. Fad, before you even start to analyze, I had thought that Nᴇᴜsᴜ was expelled from the party, right?
Well, by a faction. By a faction. It does not really stand. Yeah, by a faction, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, so the expulsion is in both ways. Why the Chirimakinde people that they expelled, Samburu Solar people are expelled in India.
God, I beg. Well, fine, they have come again. Please let me analyze it.
You know the thing about life is this, because again, all of the judiciary has now been brought into the mess. Stage to the point where the issue we have now with political judgments in Nigeria is that even case Supreme Court judgment where prayers that were not before the court, they started talking about it. And you begin to ask yourself, you don't even bring this part of what you are talking about. You understand?
They're just dragging Kubara. I don't understand it.
Our politicians have found a way of bringing the judiciary. And now we keep saying it. You are only pushing the country towards complete anarchy. Once again, people begin to see that justice is not for sale. It is for the highest bidder. On this PDP matter, whatever they want to do to themselves, I don't sabi. The man who keeps boasting. What is happening with the PDP in Oyo? Mo fẹ́ lọ ti ojúbọ Ọ̀yọ́ state. When he boasts, he talked about me now. That these APC people are shouting in Osun. We do this, our Osun. You say our Osun. We don't ask questions. So we have politicians who are practically boasting crooked politics, killing the country. And now he has said he is interested in Oyo. The governor of Oyo state, Chirimakinde, I have no pity for him. But Ojo Dagbada G5 ni. No, Ojo Dagbada G5 ni. But he has also responded. Shows up, he will believe that. And he also said it to you, but I hope Leyola would have interpreted it to his boss. That ọmọ alákìsà tó ń jó lóru ni ilẹ̀ ẹ̀ma tó mọ́. We're talking about somebody who is in rag, who is dressed in rag, dancing in the midnight, that just covers the shame. But you know about
okay, everybody will now see that you are naked.
Yeah. So the reality is that this back and forth, the Wike plan and the women with the APC is to ensure PDP never knows peace. How Seyi Makinde did not know that this was going to happen? when he joined hands with the PDP at that time, during G5, people to say, what is the end game? Where are we going? After we, if I call back, I want to collaborate and do something. Are you going to ask me to what end?
Yeah.
At what then is the next thing? So if you don't ask Wike, at his level, with his exposure, knowledge, and experience, he not to have said he discussed it and say, the plan with Wike's alliance with the APC was to ensure the PDP never knows peace. And I'm so sorry, he has done it successfully. Practically, successfully, crookedly, he has done it. What is left of the PDP?
They'll be fine.
This one is more than this level. When they pull up the SEO, even down to whether they are still beating, the APC people are like, now state powers to whip everybody to run Nigeria for 16 years. We might not be in 2027, we will be alive to do state bed ceremony, turn long together.
That for the APC, it's not even going to be that their interests are not being served. They sought to become the force that's working.
They are united. Was the example of when the Obasa saga was going on in Lagos. The only reason they appear, the way they talk now, and reality, the only reason why everybody behaves itself in the APC today is that there's a point, their own time is coming.
NAFDAC justifies ban, says 54% drinks alcohol daily, against the repeated half of Nigerian minors and underage children buy alcohol for them. The survey was conducted in collaboration with the Distillers and Blenders Association, in that it reinforces its controversial ban on small pack alcoholic beverages. Anambra, Lagos, and Rivers, with over 1,788 respondents participating in the quantitative survey to generate statistically sound references at the of Nigeria, is that you cannot stifle an entire sector just because NAFDAC had been told, well, give us evidence to prove that this data, 95% confidence on the data provided, that mostly children that are under 13, 54% of them in fact buy, conceal, and consume.
So children under 13, right?
Yes.
So applying alcohol to drink is because it is packaged in small sachet. At what point do you get to the idea of I want to take alcohol? I think I now want to really start drinking it. I cannot. The thing you now think about is go and buy sachet or something. You will first think about.
No, I said I agree. They must have heard it from someone.
And then that should not do whatever you want to do to stop, easy access to this. But different one, and everywhere. As I drive around now, sorry.
I wouldn't know. You tell me for outside and tell us how you know too. Of course. Well, there are other countries where they suffer the same fate. However, an outright ban has not been the strategy that your ID card. So there are stringent regulations. Even you, 13-year-old, by the time they ask you questions and where your placenta was perhaps buried, you're already tired of the inquiry and you just want to walk away from the store. You're not interested.
You can't even go near where they are selling it.
So it's unfortunate that it's available. Nobody asks you, let me see your ID. How old are you? Some even sell to students in their school uniforms, which is irresponsible.
And then you also have some parents. Look, have you not seen parents at parties and let the boy taste it, let the girl taste it. We will give it to their children. Do not there.
I'll not say what's on my mind.
Not to the next generation, because this generation will parent the next generation. Social vices in this generation, and they are going to be the parents of the coming generation. What will going to happen to the next generation?
Oh, your generation should better stick around longer. Anyways, we're still looking at the Guardian newspaper. We have a panel indicts Tambuwal for alleged 117 billion naira fraud, alleging that over 117 billion naira was misappropriated during the 8-year administration of former Governor Aminu Waziri Tambuwal. Chairman of the Commission, Justice Muazu Abdulkadiri Pindinga, retired, while submitting the report, also cited non-compliance with due process, breaches of extant laws, and abuse of office under the governor's tenure. If you can comment briefly for I don't run out of time.
As we speak now, where are they on that one?
Even higher.
No, that's even that is even this this is the state, Sokoto state government now, indicting Tambowa, the former governor. You understand? Now, that was the same thing the Kano state government did under Abba Yusuf when they came in. They set up a commission of inquiry at the state level. And they said, well, they are really asking some money, they are going to prosecute him. Now, so how are they going to proceed on that case now? See, remember that when Abba Yusuf came in, he was demolishing things, accusing Gandhi of all manner of things. Now they are the same party, Gandhi is raising his hand. Will they be able to proceed with that trial now? The entire
Well, let's see where this inquiry of theirs, what they do with it. If the EFCC perhaps, well, I don't even.
I'm telling choice, not me, on this one.
Well, Fuad,
You can be.
just let me just read the rest of the headlines that we have here. President Bola Tinubu has assured a World Bank for harnessing the nation's vast potential amid its youthful population and arable land. He doubled down on the reform trajectory, saying, "Here, I mean, we've gone through it. We're already." Yeah,
We have entered this tunnel now. It is the endless tunnel of pain and suffering. I will say you will not turn back. It's until when you reach Delta State, when you
don't say you. President says it's too late. We have entered the tunnel of reform.
so until when you get to Second Niger Bridge, before you turn back,
everybody will brace up. Anyways, finally, DSS arraigns ex-AGF Malami's son over alleged terrorism financing. That's the latest on the former Attorney General of the Federation and his son, Abubakar Malami. Of course, we'll take a break so we come back and take your own submissions.